Poor kitten. So I just finished up going to the class I am helping tutor for, and now I'm gonna hole up here and study for a couple hours until my tutor session thing starts. But I'm gonna slam down my lunch, get some studying done, and I will probably not talk to you guys till my ride home or something similar. So I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm sorry today's gonna be super boring, but tomorrow's gonna be boring as well. But I will see you guys later. Bye. Also, fun fact, on this day, which is also a girl from high school from my class's birthday. Anyway, this day in, I think, 2007, Kyle and I started dating for the first time, and then we broke up and then we got back together. But this is the day that we started dating the first time. So if you don't count the breakup between, then we have been together for 10 years, which is a long time. But yeah, so a little fun fact for the day. Hey, so I'm supposed to be leading this tutoring session thing, and nobody's here. Not even the person that's supposed to be watching me. So I am going to hang out and do homework until somebody shows up, and if nobody shows up, then I still have to stay here for 2 hours. So we're going to see how this goes. But we had a presentation earlier from Children's Mercy OR team, and it was really cool. It's definitely something I should look at for when I get done with school. They hire new grads, so if you're in the Kansas City area and OR is something you're at all remotely interested in, then you should definitely check out Children's Mercy and see if you can go to one of their little like OR roadshow info session things that they had today, because it was really cool. The nurses were really nice and answered a lot of questions, and it was just overall a pretty good experience. And bonus, it counts for capstone hours for next semester, so we're gonna get to start those early. Sorry, I'm talking kind of fast because I'm trying to get through all that before somebody walks in the door, but hopefully people show up to this. If not, then that's not the first time this has happened to me. But I do have to stay for the full 2-hour session just because them's the rules. So I will see you guys either later during the session or later when I get home. Okay, good morning, guys. You can't even see me. I'm running into Walmart real fast. I gotta get a Christmas card that I forgot to get yesterday, and then I will be on the road to school. So it's a busy morning. But I just want to come in today and talk to you guys about clinical. The big scary word that you hear as soon as you get accepted to nursing school is clinical's this, clinical's this, clinical's that. It's really not as scary as it sounds. It is something that you do need to be kind of prepared for, and I know my school does a kind of a skills lab thing where you learn all the skills and you practice them and you get checked off on them and all that before you go to clinical, and that's really helpful. But at the same time, it feels totally different. Like you have no idea what you're doing when you get into clinical, which is totally normal. Don't freak out at all. So what to expect in clinical is dress code. So you're going to be held to different standards of the nurses, not necessarily higher standards, but different standards, like nail polish, how many piercings you can have, tattoos, things like that. And let's see. Make sure that you are, I don't want to say engaged in the clinical, but you're participating. One of the things that I found that really irritates nurses and instructors is if you just sit there and you don't do anything unless you're asked to do it, if you just sit on the sidelines until there's no one else to do something, if you're not asking questions, that's really not a good thing. I've heard time and time again that the most worrying thing about a nursing student on the floor is one who does not ask any questions. I'm one of those people who ask questions about everything, especially when I get nervous, so I'm just like, okay, I've never done this before. Do you mind if I watch you? And so, and I'm going to get into each of the specific clinicals in other videos, just because each of them is a totally different beast. But overall, these are just kind of what I've found to be true. So ask a lot of questions. Ask to see a procedure before you do it. If you know there's an NG tube to be done, and then another one pops up, go ask to watch one of them, and then do the other one. That's what, I mean, you do them on the mannequins all the time, but it doesn't make any sense until you do it on a real person, and so watch someone do it on a real person. I actually got to watch one at work, and so that's where I got my watching experience. And then next time we had one on the floor, I said, yeah, sure, I can do that. And tip number 2, fake it till you make it, man. Don't pretend you know something you don't, but fake it till you make it in the fact that you have to pretend to have confidence sometimes. Because, like, I went into my first lab draw, and I was like, oh my god, I have no idea what to do. I've seen a million of these done, and I just never realized, you know, what all it took and all of this stuff. And then I had my instructor standing there right beside me. She's like, okay, let's just walk through it the first time. And we just told the patient, you know, she's new at this. She's only done a couple of them, and we're just going to double check everything before we do it, because this is the first one I've seen her do. So he was fine with that, and he was totally okay with me doing it. And so we walked through all the steps, and I laid out all my stuff, and I made sure I had everything before I started. And then, you know, she helped me find the good vein. And then she's like, okay, do you want me to walk you through it again, or do you want to just do it? And I said, let's just do it. So I did it, got good return. So I was 1 for 1. And the patient was really nice about it, and he was very friendly and wished me luck in school. So make sure you're asking questions. Make sure you're participating. If there's anything to do on the floor, whether it be a bed bath or a bed change, or helping feed a patient, helping with changing out antibiotics, like antibiotic bags hanging in the pump. Go watch how they program the pumps. Go watch how the techs do a bed change, because it may be something a little different than you learned in school, and they may have a more efficient way of doing it. Go watch people do a bunch of stuff. Volunteer for everything. If you can do something, go do it. That's what I tried to do through all of my clinicals, is always raise my hand. But if there was something that I had done a couple times, like lab draws or IVs or something, and someone else hadn't done any, and I knew that, I would say, hey, you know, I would love to do it, and I'm totally cool with doing it, but I know, you know, this person's never done one, so I don't want them to miss out on it. So my clinical group got really close, because we had all of our clinicals together this last semester, all 3 of our clinical classes together, and so we kind of knew where everyone was on, like, what they needed to do still. And so participate, ask questions, be involved, have a good attitude. Like, that's really another thing, is they don't want someone who's there who's saying, well, no, that's not what nurses do, this isn't what I want to do, go find someone else to help you. Like, that's not an attitude that you need. And I never actually saw that in my clinical, but I've heard stories about people in the past who have said that, or things similar. Like, well, I'm not going to do that, or that's gross, I don't want to do it. You got to get all of the exposure, and you've got to try, and you've got to be willing to help out, because if you work on a floor that doesn't have any techs or nurse aides, then you're going to be up a creek if you don't know how to do the simple things like bed making and all that. But yeah, be involved, be helpful, be willing to step up, be willing to step out of your comfort zone, because you're not going to grow unless you're out of your comfort zone. Be willing to put in work, because it is a lot of work. It's early mornings, it's late nights, it's all of this stuff, but in the end, it's so worth it. It is so worth it. I met so many great people, both patients and employees, that I am going to remember forever, because they were so nice and so helpful. And I've built rapport with, especially families at the Children's Hospital that we did clinicals at. And I would run into them in the hospital later, and they would give me updates like, oh my gosh, this happened, and like, oh my gosh, you missed this and this and this. So that was kind of interesting. It was kind of nice. But you never know what's going to come of it. So I just say, give it your best shot. Be, not necessarily be, the brightest, happiest, cheeriest person on the floor, but don't let the day get you down while you're there. Once you leave, you can do whatever you need to once you hit your car. I know multiple girls and myself and my clinical group hit our cars and just like bawled our eyes out because we were so tired and run down. And that's going to happen in school, and it's really, I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to get run down, you're going to get burned out, you're going to get overworked. But that's I hate to say it, but that's kind of the way nursing school is, and you just got to keep it one day at a time. And clinicals are a big part of school, and you either love them or hate them, but hopefully you love them because it's kind of the only choice you have. But maintaining a good attitude is going to get you through. Just fake it. Fake that happy until you hit your car. Fake the confidence until you do something and you're like, yeah, I can do that. That was like me with an NG tube. My first NG tube was on a 3-year-old, and I was like, oh my god, like this kid's gonna hate me, this kid's gonna scream and cry, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was probably easier than what I've seen people do on adults, and I was really happy about that. And then doing IVs on people, they're fantastic about me trying, and I got 1 out of my maybe 5 or 6 tries. And it's just, it is what it is. You're still learning, and most people understand that, and you just gotta do the best you can. And if you mess up, just say, hey, yo, I did something wrong. This is what happened. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. How can I learn from this mistake? And that's one of the biggest things, is being able to admit that you're wrong, or, hey, I thought this was supposed to go this way. Why is it doing this? Like, I apparently have things completely backwards. So don't be afraid to do that. And then also speak up for yourself. That's my last piece of advice. Speak up for yourself. If there's a nurse that's being rude to you, one of the girls in my clinical, one of my clinicals had a door slammed in her face by her nurse, and her nurse wouldn't let her in the room with the patient, and she said, okay, cool. So she told her instructor, and she got assigned a different nurse, and the nurse never decided to talk to the instructor and say, hey, I don't want a student with me. She just kind of, I don't know. But don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Even with patients, like, you're not there to be pushed around. Just like when you're a nurse, you're not there to be pushed around. If a patient's being rude, you know, tell them, I'm sorry, it's a little bit out of line. Is there something that, you know, I've done to warrant this? Or I'm sure there's a misunderstanding we're having. I dealt with a really rude patient one morning. He was not happy. I woke him up for vital signs at 6:45 in the morning. Later I came back to do a procedure with him, and he was much nicer. He apologized. He said, I'm sorry. It's just, when I get woken up early, sometimes I get a little disoriented, and you were a new face in a different uniform, and I was really confused, and I didn't want someone messing with me I didn't know. So it was all very warranted, and it wasn't anything I personally did. And don't take things personal. People are in the hospital. They don't feel good. They don't want to be there. There are things going on, and you probably aren't the happiest person when you don't feel good. So just don't take things personal. Be confident, even if you have to fake it. Ask questions, be involved, and make the most of your clinical experience, because these aren't things that you get back. Even if you have a really bad day, even if you get, you know, you're unsatisfactory for the day, or if you're late, you forget something, it's just, it is what it is, and you just got to make the best of it. It's a tough road, but it's a lot of fun, and I wish you all of the best luck. Let me know down below one of your favorite clinical stories. I will see you guys next time.